Yeah, welcome back, everybody. We've got some got good news for you. We're going to be sitting here in this hour and talking with a candidate for Congress. His name is Chris Mathias. It is Mathias.
You can say Mathis or Matisse. It's pronounced
Matisse.
both ways.
Okay, Matisse.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's go with Mathis because I think that the people looking at this are going to see the TH and want to say.
I'm good with that.
Thank you. So
it's okay.
Anyway, Chris is a guy that I've known for a couple of years because you ran 2 years ago in this same race, and you were primaried out. But quite frankly, you weren't primaried out by very much.
It was a real tight race, and I'm so grateful for all the support we received.
Yeah. I think I first met you at the Kern Citizens for Freedom. Their little rally that they did over at the park.
I remember that. Yeah.
And I thought both you and your opponent who showed up actually did a very good job. You're both impressive.
Well, thank you.
Your understanding and ability to describe your positions on all of the current things that were going on, I thought was really good. To listen to you, I thought you were an excellent candidate, and
Thank you.
didn't come on just kind of I think I want to run for this and boy, I'm going to make some changes. No, you actually had a good grip of what was going on, and I thought you did a good job there. But Chris, this audience probably doesn't know a heck of a lot about you, so let's start with who you are and how the heck did you get here?
Well, thank you. I'm a homegrown Valley boy, basically. I grew up there in Sanger on a citrus grove, and ended up, after graduating from Sanger High, joined the Army. Was a proud Army veteran, deployed down to Panama there, and then came back. And actually, my first job, believe it or not, was at Kelly 95 here in Bakersfield. And I was a news reporter and enjoyed just getting
From what you said, that was a easy leap because in the Army you were doing some reporting also. Is that
right? Yeah.
Did I get that correct?
Yeah. Well, I was at the Southern Command, and back then the internet wasn't what it is today. So our soldiers down there relied on us to share the news with them. So I basically read the news there in the Panama and enjoyed being in Central America. Just actually before Operation Just Cause, when General Manuel Noriega was extracted. So it was a controversial time to be there, but I was proud to be able to serve our country.
Okay, so you come back and you start working for Kelly.
Yeah, worked for
Kelly. From there you jumped into what?
Well, what happened there is, the family, we're basically in ranching, and my father made it real clear that you better get back up here and get to work, and so I ended up actually getting my real estate license, and also worked at the cattle ranch, which
it's a cattle ranch?
Yeah, it's a cattle ranch. We're in a place called Little Pinoche Valley, just west of the 5 freeway there. We're strictly beef, cow-calf operation. Things are going good. We had a great year last year. Good rain. We had a lot of forage. We're happy. Hope it continues. We've had some real lean years, and so I'm in the middle of it. I understand how important water is for our farmers and ranchers, and how important agriculture is for District 22 here in our Central Valley.
Well, and you're also familiar with the cost increase in some of the things, the materials that are necessary in order for you to produce the kind of cows that are going to get the highest dollar for you. I'm sure an expert on what beef is best for this area, what grows the best. But the increase in the labor costs, increase in the feed costs, all those things have led to the cost of us going and being able to enjoy a good steak to become out of the reach of a lot of people who let's just say before Biden got in, we used to be able to have steak all the time. Today, people just aren't doing it. It's too expensive.
It's very expensive, and just the cost that's involved. Generally, when we have dry years, we have to import feed. That's expensive. And like you say, the cost of labor, just being in the cattle business in general is tough. Slaughterhouses are limited. It's a small group of large, packers basically.
Right.
We're dependent on them, and so it is a fight. But it's in our blood, and we're going to continue the fight.
So, Chris, you went back there and you started working in the cattle business again. Did you do anything on the side besides doing the cattle? Like you said, you got a real estate license.
Well, right. We pretty much do two things. We run the cattle ranch there, and then we're involved in a commercial property. Actually, I've got a little restaurant there in Kettleman City, which is
Oh,
in the
do you
district.
really?
Yeah, it's called Chilillo. So if you want to have a taco or burrito, stop
Oh,
on
cool.
by. Yeah, and so we're involved, in family type businesses. My main focus is really the cattle business. I mean, we did buy some more ground here last year, so we've got to definitely be front and center. We had to borrow quite a bit from the land bank to buy that second piece, and so we're pushed hard on that. And then I've always been someone that's been active. I did serve 4 years on the Fresno City Council.
I was gonna say, you have some experience in politics also.
Yeah, that was tough. Fresno's a tough place, and that's why I feel more comfortable here actually. in
Oh, it was the
Bakersfield.
Fresno City Council?
Fresno, yeah.
Oh, those people are lunatics.
They're crazy, and there were 2 conservatives when I was in office and 5 progressives, and they beat us up on a weekly basis. But we held true.
Here in the city of Bakersfield, we're now a progressive city. Also, we got 4 progressives and 3 sometimes they're squishy, sometimes they really got backbones as far as their conservatism.
Yeah, I saw that. Just recently they wanted to stop these stay-at-home orders and all of that, and the city council got beat up by some of the progressives. I mean, let's be a free country.
You mean the Californian?
Well, yeah, and that too, obviously. Yeah, they're not our friends. Yeah. So
it always cracks me up how people refer to California. It'd be like referring to the UN on human rights.
Right.
It's like who's going to be the next chair of the human rights is Iran.
I wouldn't be surprised.
I mean, that's who the UN is. And when you start looking at the Bakersfield, California, and it's such a progressive paper, and they as Chris is alluding to, they just beat up Ken Weir and Betty Gray and Brandon. No, it's I don't know why his name always escapes me, but anyway.
Yeah,
so they beat him up, and that was unnecessary.
Yeah, we're a conservative area. People work
absolutely.
hard here. They come home tired. They're in the oil and gas industry, ranching, farming. We have good times and bad times. We just got hit by Hillary. It's been tough on grape farmers, grape growers, and so that's our focus. We're not a progressive LA area. We are conservative, hardworking Republicans here in the Valley, and really the newspapers should reflect those values, but they don't. Like
Absolutely.
you say, they don't.
Okay, so you have been doing that. Are you married?
No, I'm actually single, man, but I do have I'm proud of my son. He's 32, and he used to call me helicopter dad because I wanted to make sure he learned the value of hard work. And he's working actually in ag himself. He's working for Archer Daniel Midland. They're a large feed company, and he's in the business a little.
So he got into the money side of the business
Yeah.
instead of the side that you're in, which is a lot of work with very little revenue.
Right. He's in corporate America. He gets a paycheck every month, and we don't necessarily get those. We have to wait to see what we're going to get for the beef prices first. But I'm proud of him. He's still in the business indirectly. Archer Daniels Midland, they're a lot of heavily involved in animal feed, nutrition, and grain. And so I'm glad he's in that business.
What were some of the issues while you were on the Fresno City Council that you can think of where it was difficult, but through hard work, you're able to push through?
Yeah, I mean, let's face it. The big problem in government is we spend way too much money. There is no accountability. And when I was on the city council, I mean, I fought it tooth and nail week after week. I mean, we have a single A baseball stadium that's costing the taxpayers there in Fresno County millions a year in subsidies. But the council seemed to want to make sure that got built. There's always attack on our Second Amendment. I remember one councilman pushed for trigger locks mandatory in your house. Well, by the time you get that lock off, it's too late. And so I worked with the NRA on that. We were able to stop that.
Good.
Where we wouldn't, residents weren't required to have the trigger lock on their firearm in their house. So I was proud of that. And then other than that, just trying to get transportation moving. We had some real rough intersections with railroad tracks. We were able to build great separations, got those done there, and made it easier for people to get around. And at the end of the day, talk is cheap, but you have to get things done where people can see tangible results.
California high-speed rail. Fresno, I was amazed because I was on the city council when, of course, the city of Bakersfield thought that they were in kind of the driver's seat, and they really weren't, because we had a meeting where we invited people from Bakersfield to come and talk to the committee that was going to come down, and I think they had maybe 4 or 5 representatives came down. But you know who filled the room up with? Fresno.
Yeah.
Fresno was here, and the people from Bakersfield were not. They took up probably 2/3 of the time in front of this group. And you could just tell because they talked about how, you remember when we were at dinner last night? I mean, Fresno did a great job of becoming good friends, and you can see that most of the tracks that have been laid, everything that's positively happening for the California high-speed rail is happening in Fresno.
Right, that's where it started, exactly.
Yeah, it really did. But what's your opinion of the high-speed rail? I mean, is it ever going to get built? Is it going to be used? Is it going to be too expensive?
Well, the whole thing is ironic. You know, we can't approve more oil and gas drilling permits, but we can spend billions of dollars on a high-speed rail project. I mean, to me, the money should have been spent somewhere else.
Sure.
We have freeways that are falling apart, transportation issues, but it is approved. Obviously, the current administration is supporting it. And so, and it hits home for our family. We were faced with eminent domain and actually lost a piece of property through it.
Did you really?
Yeah,
wow. And
they took it, and they were as arrogant as all get out. We fought as hard as we could, but frankly, let's think about Americans, inflation. Think about high gas prices. Sending billions of dollars to the Ukraine. We got to put this country first. I mean, back up in the northern part of the district, 2 hospitals closed. Madera Hospital still closed. I mean, what's more important? Taking care of Americans, our needs here, where people can afford to buy a house, where people can live here comfortably. I mean, the interest rates have tripled in the last 2.5 years. And this is all since President Trump left office. Interest rates, inflation, cost of living. First thing he did, he cancels the Keystone Pipeline. That's something that would have helped, our fuel costs. And that's where I differ from, David Valadao. He actually votes to impeach President Trump, calls him un-American. I ask the average voter, are you better off now under President Biden? And I think most people will say they're not.
Yeah. Let's go ahead and take a break, come back, we'll get into some of those issues and kind of go over what your game plan is, what you expect, what your anticipated results are in the primary, because you are one of just 2 people right now that are running for this particular position. You've got the incumbent, David Valadao, and you're the only other person in the race. So.
There are 2 other Democrats now. There's
I mean,
as far as Republicans,
the Republican side, because it will probably be a Republican versus a Democrat in the end. So
usually,
basically, your competition right now is truly David Valadao.
100%.
Yeah. Okay, we're going to be right back. We're talking with Chris Mathis, who is a candidate for 22nd.
Yeah,
22nd Congressional District here in California. You listen to Maxwell in the Morning. Good for the last mic drop here on KNZR AM 1560 and FM 97.7.